Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome once again to UTR presents Dead Man Talking, where me, the Huntsman, and my boy Dev Testated Mongo will be talking about HBO's Last of Us, and today we're talking about episode 2. Um, Folks, thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning as always. Let's get into it. Let's talk about episode 2. Mongo, before the show, you were telling me how there's a major plot twist between the game and the show that we'll get into, but you like the actual change.
Yeah, again, last week I had said that they changed the reasoning for them to go find, was it Robert, I think, to go get, in the show it's to get a battery to go find Tommy.
Mhm.
And in the game, their smugglers are going to get guns and they need their guns, and that's it. And this, at the end of this episode, uh, spoilers, um, we do lose a member of the cast this episode again, in pretty dramatic fashion,
Mhm.
and it's a very different change from how it happened in the game, and we'll get into it when we get to it. But I think it's fine, and the reason that I brought that up to you is because I saw a lot of people uh, complaining about it. Um, but people, they were like, "Oh, it's not like it was in the game," and then how it happened was a little strange. But I thought it was, we'll get into it. We'll talk about it. Let's start with the beginning.
All right. Well,
Um,
the show kicks off in Indonesia, and we see a mature woman sitting down in a little coffee shop, a little diner, having her lunch, and then all of a sudden, the Indonesian government comes in, and everybody's looking around like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" So the Indonesian government comes in and they pick this woman up and they take her out with them. As she's in the car, she's going, "Are you sure you have the right person? Are you sure you're looking for me? That I am I under arrest?" And they're like, "No, no, 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 you're not under arrest." And then she goes, "Well, are you sure you have the right person?" And they break down her life to her real quick,
mhm.
pretty much like, "You're so and so and so. You've been studying minecology your entire life, and you work at the university, correct?" She's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, then shut up. We got the right person." So they bring her into a lab, and in that lab, they they show her a sample, and as she's looking at the sample, she immediately identifies that it's that parasite fungus that she's been studying her whole life. She immediately identifies it, and then she asks them why do they have it prepared with the chloroplasm, and the what's going on, coach? What's going on? And the officer informs her that's what you have to do when you're preparing a human species. And she's like, "What are you talking about? This can't live in a human." And he hits her with the look like, "Okay, if you say so." So they bring her into this room where they have a dead subject laying on the table, and she begins to examine the body, and the officer is looking at her through a two-way glass, and he pretty much tells her, "Yo, if you feel sick, get out immediately." Immediately. And she's looking like, okay. And she cuts open the leg and she sees the fungal spores inside the leg. So then she moves to the mouth. She reaches in with a pair of tweezers and pulls out one of the fungal spores, and the fucking fungal spore starts to move.
Yep. It's even though this person's dead, the fungus is still growing and still
Very
taking
much
life.
alive.
She drops it and freaks, and then
Books it.
man, And so
Books it out of there.
the next thing they're talking to her and like, so what do we do about this? What is the plan?
What's the vaccine? He's like, we brought you here to work on a vaccine. And she hits homeboy with the, I hate to tell you this, brother, but there is no vaccine. There is.
So,
He's like, so what can we do? He said, so what can we do to stop the spread? She looked him dead in the face with a tear in her eye and said, "Bum,
one word, bomb.
bomb, bomb, everything." And then he looks at her like, "You know we in the city that you're talking about bombing, right?" And she gives him the look and says, "Can someone drive me home? I'd like to be with my family, please." Because she knows there is absolutely no way to stop this. She's been studying this her whole life. She tells him, "I've been studying this my whole life. There is no vaccine. There is no. There is no cure. There's nothing for this." Right? They don't make a cream for that fungus.
Again, a very emotional scene. Like, damn.
Within the first 15 minutes, this show has a tendency of giving you some emotional shit before the opening credits, and I'm not sure if I'm digging that.
Here's what I want to ask you about it, because they've done it 2 episodes in a row now, where it's a flashback before we get to the actual episode. Do you want them to keep doing that, or are you thinking this is like the last of it? You do?
No,
you want to see more about the world before?
Yeah, I do.
So I saw people talking about it, how, like, they can only do it so much, and I don't know, man. I think it's interesting to see, like, different parts of the world and how they reacting to it. Yeah, like, just a little, like, that's how, like, it builds on the world a bit more, and it's not too much. It's not too much.
Right.
It's just, here's how they dealt with them realizing what happened. That's it. There's nothing else. It's just a little snippet.
Exactly. Like, I honestly believe that with what they're doing, because they're literally doing it in the first 5 to 7 minutes before the actual credits, you can continue doing that throughout the series. You can, like you said, this one showed the scientist in Indonesia and how she figured it out. You can show how someone in New York figured it out. You can show how a farmer in the Midwest figured out it was out there. Like, you can do this throughout the entire show because, like you said, it's not too long. It's not taking up a majority of your episode. It's not taking away from any of the plot that you have going on for the episode. It just reiterates that life was normal before this. You know what I mean? So I think they can get away with doing this for the entire season if they do it correctly. And it doesn't have to be major characters like this scientist and her being it's not as of right now, she's not a major character and a major focal point. You gave us the major character the first one, which was perfect. Now you can figure out how the hell this is affecting everyone else in the world.
It's a nice little tidbit. I think it's interesting, and I kind of hope we keep getting more of it. But so that's how it ends. She says, "We're gonna bomb this place. I'm just gonna be with my family while it happens." And like she said, that was tough.
Yeah.
Like, seeing her break down, like, she's drinking that tea and her hand's shaking, she can barely even hold it.
Mm-hmm.
And the soldier even kind of starts tearing up at just the thought of, like, oh shit.
He's like, it's the realization that the person who you thought can help pretty much told you, yeah, the only help you got for this is death, homie.
We gotta die. We all have to die right now.
Because during that time, he was explaining to her exactly what happened. And what happened was this particular woman went to work at a factory, and she began attacking her co-workers. 7 people were bit. 6 were taken out. 1, they don't know where it's at.
And they don't know who bit her.
Right. And then on top of that, she asked how many people at the warehouse have been infected. He said so far the count is up to 14. 14 people have gone missing. So
Now,
they think
missing,
at
not
least 14.
not we killed them. That's 14 plus the person that bit her, and then another. That's like 16 at least are nowhere to be found.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
when she came up with the bomb this mother
bomb.
bomb it.
No,
Bomb.
it's
Because
already
there's
gone. It's already too far. We can't stop it. It's done.
it's, it's like the Jackass movie when he went to the doctor because he had the car stuck up. He said, "If your friend knows, that's too many people already." He know it's pretty much. Oh, they go. That's too many people. That's no. Bomb it.
Yeah,
Bomb it. We gotta
yeah.
go. We gotta go.
So we don't see that. We just see them have a discussion, cut to the intro, and then we're back out in the open. Uh, they're trying to figure out what to
With
do with Ellie, and
she wakes up. She
Joel and
wakes up to
Tess.
a M16 in her face.
They,
Joel and
they
Tess
they
sitting
they're
there.
still they're thinking of just shooting her right then and there and just being done with it.
Mhm.
Which again,
To be
like I
fair,
said last week, like I said last week, I wonder if they're gonna capture how brutal they are. Oh yeah, there you go. They're about to just shoot a kid for no reason.
right? And she tells her straight up and down too. Tess tells her straight up and down. I'm gonna talk to you like an adult. Me and Joel are not good people. We will shoot you. She tells her straight up and down, like, don't get it twisted. We will shoot you because Joel definitely is not convinced. Because they like, why does Marlene want you? Why would Marlene have an infected child? And
They think it's a
Joel
setup. They think that Marlene set them up
Joel
to be
actually
taken out
makes
by this kid.
Joel actually makes a statement, which is the statement he makes is my argument about this show. He says, "Let me guess, you're the cure, and we got to get you over there because we have to find the cure because you're chosen one." What did I tell you? My complaint about this TV show is, Mongo. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen that storyline. Joel states, "I've heard this storyline hundreds of times. I've
Joel's in it.
seen."
Joel is if Kenny got flipped in the apocalypse. Like, I've read the books. I've seen the movies. I'm tired of the same old shit. I know
Something better be different. Something better be different out this motherfucker.
We're gonna see Marlene again. I'm not saying
Can't
shit.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can't
saying
ask
anything. I
that.
can't.
You can't. What kind of question is that to ask, woman?
I'm not saying yes or no to that. No,
You want to get Mongo jumped? Because I already told him if he tells me anything, I'm flying down there. Okay.
I'm not spoiling a damn thing. I know Kenny can get down here quick.
Like, he knows.
Kenny.
Right, he knows I got family in South Carolina. I get there quicks. So
Get in, hide a body, leave. Like nah.
listen. So Joel is literally me and how I feel. Like, okay, I've seen this storyline. Prove to me something different. So Tess pretty much convinces Joel. She go. Joe goes. If she even twitches, Ellie's in the background. All of a sudden, you see her go.
And Tess just goes, stop it. Sorry. And they're talking about like leaving and like going to try to take her to the Capitol building. And or is it Capitol building or museum?
The museum.
Museum. And talking about how it's gonna be dangerous.
No, you're right. You're right. It's the Capitol building. They choose to go through the museum because
museum to get to it because of
to it because when they look out onto the horizon, all they see is a bunch of
infected.
I'm about to say those are infected. The ones that they run into in the museum, those are the clickers, correct?
Right.
Okay.
So she's talking about how dangerous it's going to be, and she goes, "Ooh, can I get a gun?" And just Joel goes, "Fuck no."
No, like they both hit her at the same time. Like, you've got to be shitting me. Fuck no, you ain't getting a gun. Absolutely not. So
and I talked to you last week about how it was spores in the game, but in this show, I'm not doing spores. We're not talking about spores. It's just a bite, and it's that fungus getting to you. So they're walking on the bridge, and Ellie's asking these questions. Hey, how does like I've heard there are different kinds of infected, like
Right.
and how
And
these things spread by spores. And Joel goes, "That's the stupidest thing. What if it was spread by? We wouldn't survive if it was spread by spores.
right.
We'd be dead already."
She asked the question and Tess hits her with the fuck. No, I hope not. Like, what the kind
Like
of
Jesus.
like we already got some weird shit going on, and you want some extra weird? And then she asked about the one. She said, and I heard that there's ones where their face looks kind of open and exploded, and neither one of them answered that.
It's like
Neither one of, but
they respond like bats, and Joel just like didn't really say anything. Just kind of kept walking. You're like, okay, they know they've
here's something note I want to point
that
out
one's
that
real. That one's
right.
real.
Here's something I want to point out that we kind of missed before they get to the actual bridge and they're walking. Um, you see the background of the scenery and stuff like that. And I happened to go on YouTube under that same page as you sent me before, and they did another little clip. And I looked, and I just want to point out the likeliness of the background scenes and everything that they have going on with the game is so crazy. It's like they literally just was like, you know what? We're gonna use a CGI screen and just take this video game background and put it right here. You guys are gonna be walking on the green screen. Okay, you're not gonna work.
It's I cannot tell you the amount of fan service that show is doing for people that play that game. Like it's insane. It really is. Just the attention to detail, the little things. Like it's wild. It's something that they should and they are being commended for, and they should be commended for. It's fantastic attention to detail.
It really is. It really
But,
is, fam.
but so let's talk about that point where they're on the like the hotel building and they're seeing the zombies on the ground.
She
They're
asks
all
them. She asks them, "How do they know where you are?" And he pretty much tells them. She tells them, "Wherever you step, be careful, because if you step on one of the toads, they can feel out where you are." And she said, "Well, how many will come if they feel out?" Joe looks over and said, "All of them."
whatever. So apparently there's this like underground network of this fungus that springs up and touches these bodies, and turns them into infected. And they're all connected to this fungus like a giant hive mind.
It's a
And it's that's freaky. It's really like horrifying to think about that. They're like
for
landmines at that point.
pretty much for anybody who's still a little confused about exactly what they're talking about. It's like Vecna in Stranger Things.
I was about to say it's like Stranger Things. Yeah, when one thing in that system knows something, they
Everything
all
knew.
know.
Right. It was like Vecna with Stranger Things. Remember how the scene where he was up on and they showed him attached to all of those different wires? That's pretty much what's going on with these cases. Okay. So they're walking, and they look over, like you said, Marco, they look over at the edge, and at first I had to really look because I thought it was just like trash and shit just sitting on the ground. And then I looked again, I'm like, oh no, that's a ass load of an infected just sitting down there. So they're starting to walk, and they're trying to figure out the closest way to get to the capital. Ultron. That's a good way. That's a good way of thinking. um, so they're trying to get to the capital, and they ask, "Well, which way should we go? Should we take the long way?" And Tess goes, "It's either the long way or the get dead way." And Ellie goes, "Based on a little bit of information that I know, I say the long way."
Good answer. Good
Right.
answer.
Damn good answer right there, Ellie. So they make the decision to cut through the museum. So when they get up to the museum, the first thing that they notice is the fungus is all over the outside. The fungus is all over the outside. So the first thing that they check is the fungus. So Joel cracks open the fungus and it's dried out. So as long as the fungus is dried out, there are no infected over there because there hasn't been anything for it to feed off of. So that's the good part. So they get into it and they no this they're trying to get to the museum and they go through the hotel. Did we talk about that part or is it reversed? I'm trying to remember
You
real
kind of
quick.
skipped over. The hotel was first because that's how they see the infection on
Right,
the ground. So, but
right.
like, it was the bridge, then the hotel, and then they get to the
The hotel, the bridge,
the
the hotel
museum
is
in the Capitol.
right. The hotel is actually important because during that hotel they get into a little scrimmage with a couple of infected during that point, and it's also a part where they do a little foreshadowing because as they're coming out of the hotel to walk across the bridge to keep going, um, you see Joel and Ellie looking out over the skyline, and you see Tess come up behind them, and she's like blurred. So anybody who knows anything about movies and characters, usually when that happens, you can tell the person that's blurred something's gonna happen to their ass.
She's not the one in focus for a reason. She's
Right,
and it ain't about her.
right,
They
like
they so they walk to the museum and like Tess and Ellie are kind of like talking back and forth more, and you can kind of see that like Ellie's gravitating more towards Tess than Joel.
right, because she sees her as it's another. First off, it's another female, so they have that in common right there. You know, and she didn't want to shoot her as soon as she found out that she was infected the way Joel did. So you would gravitate to the person who saved your fucking life.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
You know,
Uh, they get to the museum and this place is just covered in
the fungus,
infected in the fungus, but like not infected, like dead bodies covered by the fungus.
right? And
And
everybody's dried. Everybody's dried out. Key
mhm.
point: everything is dried out.
They go
So
up those stairs, and Joel's like, "Don't step on this. Don't step on this part right here." He steps over it. Tess steps over it. Ellie grazes it
mhm.
and ends up like stepping on a bone of a hand. It's oh shit, sorry. And this whole time, by the way, if you didn't know anything about clickers and you didn't watch didn't play the game, I don't know if this is its tense, but if you did, you're hearing those stairs creak and like these like sounds,
Mhm.
and you're like, oh fuck, oh shit, here we go. So like, how was that tense for you? Was that even more tense for you?
It
Did
was.
you notice what they were doing there? Where they were like, is that a clicker or is that an infected or is it
It
just
did.
the stairs?
It didn't. It didn't dawn on me until Ellie found that body that was pretty much mangled. It
Mhm.
wasn't bit because she said, "What the hell did this?" Because I've been attacked by an infected before, and it didn't look like this. And Tess and Joel gave each other a look, and it didn't click on me that the significance of the stairs squeaking, and when part of the building fell behind them, the significance of the noise. Until looked at her and said, "From this point on, we are silent. Not quiet, but we are silent." And they're like, "Okay." And then all of a sudden, you hear the, and I'm like, "What the hell is that? Did they step on something?" That's when it dawned on me and it started getting tense. Kids, shit, people in general, not even just damn kids. Like,
So
so,
they basically what Ellie was saying was like infected. They're kind of like their whole thing is like to infect other things, other people.
mhm.
and they wouldn't leave something just that mangled and
Mango.
like just basically not useful. Like that's I was giving you the brutality of what these things can do. And then after they get to the top of the stairs, the roof collapses, and then you hear the clicker. And I'm gonna play the scene. It's a 30-second clip I found on Twitter. I'm gonna play it for y'all. It's pretty intense. Um, what did you think when you first saw it?
Um, angry.
You felt angry?
I felt angry, and the reason why I did not want to know what the clickers looked like this soon.
Mm.
That is something I brought up last episode too, where I don't want them to rush through everything. Like this, I felt angry because I was like, I don't want to know what these clickers look like just as of yet. And sure enough, they gave it to me. But the intensity of the scene was definitely there. Yeah, see, that shit is a demigorgon. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, these things, and they're and when you see when you first see them in the game, it's the same time you get to the museum. Hey, don't make any noise. They kill you in one hit. You're dead if they catch you. So they did a great job of like, hey, we might not even want to shoot these things if we can just like get away.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fuck up the stealth mission, and Tess and Joel just start firing rounds off.
Joel actually
And
fucked up the stealth mission by stepping on a piece of glass.
mhm,
It's not even Ellie. It's not even Ellie for this
no,
one. You know, kids keep quiet. It's not even Ellie. It's Joel. Joel steps on a piece of glass, and that motherfucker is on him like a goddamn flea on a dog. Quick, and he is on his ass. So next thing you know, they just letting off rounds. Once you start letting off rounds, no way you can hide that noise. So it's about what, maybe 3 or 4 clickers in there.
I think three. I think three. And by the end of it, they end up killing all three of them. It takes them a lot. They almost die in the process. Ellie gets bitten,
Right. As everybody's
and
sitting there checking over themselves and shit like that, Ellie's like, "Fuck." Of course, it would be me. Like,
they're like, at least it's me. Like if everyone's gonna get bit, at least
right,
it was just me. They're like, yeah, it's just Ellie. Yeah, it's just
and
Ellie. Nobody else.
right. Ellie got bit by one of the fungi coming out of the clicker's
The
mouth
mouth.
when she was trying to get it off of Joel, and it bit her that way. So I was like, "Oh, this shit is reaching.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is different." But
It'll catch you. It'll catch you.
so now they escaped the clickers. They're walking through, and they finally get to the Capitol building where they're supposed to meet up with um Marlene's people to do the exchange, so that way everything that they got going on, you know, they can go about to the point in the plot that I want them to keep going with, finding fucking Tommy.
Where the fuck is Tommy? Yeah.
Where the fuck is Tommy? That's what I want to know. Okay, where the fuck is Tommy? Yes, we know yes, we know Joel's a transporter. Yes, we know Ellie's the damn cure. Like I said, we seen this goddamn plot. So where the fuck is Tommy? How is Tommy surviving? What's going on in Tommy's world? That's what I want to know. Get to that.
So the Capitol building, there's a truck outside,
Where they're supposed to make the
but
exchange right there in the truck.
and then nobody's there. So Tess grabs Ellie and takes her into the building,
In a hurry.
and it's a massacre. Everyone is dead.
Did. And Ellie's like, well, what happened? And Joe explains it looks like somebody got infected. And then it turns into the infected versus the non infected. And it didn't work out for anyone. And you look around, you see ammunition, gas tanks, grenades, all types of military shit all around. So now Tess is frustrated because Joe's like, "Yo, let's just go back to the QZ zone. Like, there's nothing we can do. The shit is over." And Tess hits him with the, "Yo, that ain't my home. That ain't my home." And you can tell Tess is like in a hurry. Like she wants to get L to this doctor, and she's trying to tell Joe she has to be the one. Look at, and that's when Ellie figures out, shit, she's infected. Joe gives her the look, and he goes, "Show me." Sure enough, she pulls her shirt down. Big old bite mark infection. Big old infections growing on the neck.
Yep. So Tess is infected, but she's
So,
saying, "Look at this bite," and then look at the bite that Ellie got from that.
and and Ellie's bite is fucking healed. It's completely healed. And she goes, "Joe, I think she's the real deal. We gotta get her. There is a chance for humanity to survive because of this fucking little girl right here. We gotta get her. We gotta get her to safety." And she's like, "Joel, promise me you'll get this girl to safety." Now, as they're talking, it appears that one of the people who were quote unquote massacred, a couple of people who were massacred, are now changing into infected, so they're starting to move.
We're seeing the fungus like wrap around their fingers and get into the body.
What happened? No, what happened? How that happened was one of the body started twitching, and it went to grab Ellie, and she moved away from it, and Joel shot it. So when the
Hmm.
body fell down, it fell down on those, um, I guess a toe spool or whatever, and the fungus wraps around it. And guess
Realize
what?
what just happened, and all those infected from the beginning of the episode,
All
they're
know where
going,
the hell they're at.
they're going right to that Capitol building.
Right.
Which again, Jesus Christ, that's horrifying. It's that
That's
easy. It's
scary as
that
shit.
simple. One like it. You like what do you do? What do you do? You know, it's
Shit and cry.
So Tess realizes what's happening. Joel realizes what's happening, and Tess is like, "I'm not going to get out of this. And I don't want to turn."
Right.
And they
So
realize what's about to happen, and Ellie is not okay with it. Like, I'm not going to leave her. I don't want to leave her.
I'm not fucking going with you. What are you gonna do? Stay with her and die, kid? Like you have no choice right now. So the plan is, Tess starts spilling all the gasoline all over the floor, takes a box of grenades
Mhm.
and just tosses it onto the floor, spilled with gasoline. Just shit, we all gonna go. Just enough to buy them time, and she tells Joe, "Get her out of here, get her to safety, get her to that doctor." And you see them leave, and as pretty much as soon as they leave, those goddamn infected ransacked that goddamn Capitol building, stormed in, and this one particular infected out of everybody that's
Within
running
her
by,
sense.
that's pretty much yeah, 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 yeah. A lot of potatoes walking through. A lot of potatoes walking through the Capitol building. Yeah. So this one particular infected, I don't know if Tess knew this person because that's something they didn't get into or anything like
Yeah.
that.
So this is the thing that people were a little confused about. So go ahead and explain it. I'll give you my interpretation of what happened. But go ahead and explain what happened.
This one particular infected sees Tess stand because what Tess has done is she's led a trap and she's standing off to the side hoping that they go past them and she's trying to spark this Zippo, which isn't sparking. So she can light everything on fire and blow everybody to shit's creek. And this one particular infected, looking like a damn vampire, spots her and kind of walks over to her and gives her this kiss, and the spores and the fungus starts sucking down her face. What's wrong? She wanted one last goodbye. What you mean? There you go again. There you go again. We need to
Are you
get
that
you a.
desperate where you're gonna kiss a
We need to
fungus
get.
now? You're gonna
We need to get you a dating profile, girl. We need to put you on eHarmony or something, girl.
So while the kiss is happening, she manages to light the Zippo, drops it,
And
and then we
kablooey.
see Joel. We see Joel and Ellie outside looking at the building, and it goes up. So this is what I
They
was going to get
start.
to earlier. I think that's the end of the episode. I think.
Yes.
Is
Then they
them
start
away.
walking on. Yep. They start walking away.
So I'll tell you first off how this happens in the game. When they go to the Capitol building, uh, the Fireflies have been killed by the police.
Oh.
The one cop that Joel beat to death in the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
that's a bigger deal in the game where the police are going after them.
Oh.
So the police show up at the Capitol building because they get some intel that I think they get intel that that's where they were heading, and they get there first, wipe them out, and then they go back to the building. They kind of see where we're heading, go back to the building again, and Tess is like, well, I'll buy you two some time, and they don't blow up the Capitol building. Tess just stands there with a gun, ready to have a one last stand.
Oh, so Tess pulls a
Takes out two.
From
Mhm,
Set It Off.
mhm.
Hops out the whip and just goes out.
Takes
Oh,
out two or three of the cops before getting gunned down. And while you're walking away with Ellie, you hear her screaming, and then getting
oh my
shot, killed.
god. Oh my
Very
god.
brutal. Very
Oh my
brutal. And then you
god.
get to the top of the stairs, look over, and you just see them like looking at Tessa's body, and she's just like Family Guy, Peter Griffin on the ground, just dead. And so that's different in that like
I
we're kind of getting away from the police thing, and we're dealing with the infected is the main issue.
I think with the state of society right now and what's going on with police, especially as of recently with the current killing of a African American male, at a, with the current state of how the United States is very much split up on the police, I do believe that was the very best and smartest idea to change that particular storyline.
Yeah, and it might come back up later, but that might be a major change that they do going forward. And if so, it's all right. Like you said, I think that might have been the smartest thing to do. As far
Right.
as the kiss goes, I think it's just she noticed that they noted that one noticed her because once that one noticed her, they stopped running past her. They all stopped moving.
My thing is like, is he was he the leader of that particular pack or horde?
No, I don't. I think it was just that one of them saw a living person, and they all turned to her. If one of them sees it, they all see it, and they all go. I think is what
But
the idea
here,
is.
here's the thing though. I if they all know the infected from the infected, why go after her? She's infected.
Maybe maybe they don't know for sure if she's infected. I mean, like she got bit, but maybe could be a different patch of the fungus. Could be that it doesn't counter if she's not fully infected. Like we don't really know. But it walks. So this thing walks up, and I think what she's doing, she's buying time to light this thing. Because if she runs away, they're going to chase her down and just she don't want to get the match to or the lighter to work. So she's just trying to get this lighter to work, and that's the best she could do is just draw it out with this last. This thing's going to take its time, and this thing's going to take its. Maybe this is how these things infect people, and she's like, well, it's going to take a while. I might as well do this and give me some time to. I'm going to die anyway. Let's do this right. That's my guess because I don't think she knew him. I don't think it was anything that serious. It was just I've got the attention of this entire horde now. Let's take advantage of that and blow them all up.
Another thing that we kind of skipped over real quick is when they were walking through the city, they showed a crater, and Ellie asked, "Is this where they did the bombs?" And Tess explained to her, "Yeah, they did this all over the world, hoping that it would wipe it out. It didn't work as well as it did here. And if it worked well there and they're still infected, what the fuck is the rest of the place looking like?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a spot where that's a place where it worked out as best as they were hoping it would. It was like this as good as it could have been.
Like, what is every other place looking like if this is the best that it can get? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. This is some shit going on over here. That made me think too. That's exactly what I said too while I was watching it. I said, "Well, what the shit is the rest of the world looking like if this was the best?" Because this is all. This is horrible.
Y'all see the background we have for this. This is it. That's good. This is what they wanted. It's happening with the bombs.
Like y'all like living like I Am Legend? This is what y'all hoped for, and this is the best. Oh, okay. Oh, well, shit. I'm with Joe. Let's go back to the QZ zone then. If this is the best, I'm not stepping out these walls. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We'll just stay home. We'll just stay home.
We'll just ride it out and see what goes down. We'll just ride it out. Like
so yeah, it's for the most part it was pretty much again it was spot on to the game except until the very end where they changed the reasoning kind of what happened with Tess. They kind of stray away from the whole police thing and go to the infected being the issue. And I told you this because you were talking to me about how horror fans feel about zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And how, for the most part, we don't like them. And it's not that we don't like them. It's just that you can't make zombies the main focal point of anything. Ever. You can't make them the main villain. You can't make them the main antagonist threat of anything. They have to be the secondary. They have to they can drive the main villain, but they can't be the main focus of anything. They're not that interesting to do that, and then if they are, it's just
how did it work in I Am Legend then?
In I Am Legend, they're not even really zombies in I Am Legend. They're
I guess vampires.
Yeah, they're more like vampires. It's just because if you think about zombies and if this shit could ever really happen,
they're mindless.
They're mindless. Well, also we're screwed. There's no we're gonna survive and no, we're done. That's it. That is done. If it ever gets to that point, we're done. Because there's nothing you can really stop that.
Except take their head off.
Yeah. And if it's an infection, we're it's infecting all these other countries. Okay, well, we're just done. That's it. There's nothing worse, just there's no answer. Yeah, bomb.
Bomb.
There's no answer.
Bomb.
So when it's a worldwide pandemic, zombies, it doesn't get any better. So it was just that's why people don't always like zombie stuff, because it was overplayed and then it died off, and The Walking Dead brings it back. And then after The Walking Dead brings it back, it's all over the place again. And you need to have something more interesting than just zombies for a good story.
Well, then they need to get to finding Tommy.
And that's why I was like, okay, you take out the police thing, but that was like a major plot point. So like, what do you replace this with? What are we going to change here? What's going to be the new
Well, maybe they'll bring
main
up.
issue?
Well, maybe
They
they'll
might, they
bring
might
up
do
the
it later.
policing. They might, like I said, maybe they'll bring, like you said, maybe they'll bring up the police issue later on. But right now, it's a hot topic. And
What's dealing with the Fireflies? Because the Fireflies are like fighting the police. We'll get into the Firefly stuff in the next few episodes. It looks like we will see what happens. I I'm still loving it. I still think it's fantastic. But like it's just if the main thing is it's just the zombies, then it's just
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
like
Like what happened with Game of Thrones when they made like the God, what are they called? The White Walkers. When they made those such like a massive focal point, and then they just kind of dropped the ball because at the end of the day, what do you do?
right, it's
What do you do
zombies.
with that?
You
It's like
fight
what do you
them,
do?
you fight them, and you hope you win. And yeah, that's about it. Like,
You can't do a lot with zombies. You can do a lot with vampires and make them more interesting. You can do a lot with Frankenstein, werewolves. Zombies is just zombies, and this just
right,
can only go so far with it.
right. That's
But
why they
that's
pretty
why I
much.
like the last. That's why I like Last of Us. Where like at least the fungus thing is it's interesting, or it spread is interesting. That it's different. It's not
it's
enough.
it's it's scary as shit because what it did was it led me down to a rabbit hole of looking up actual fungus and finding out just how many zombie damn animals and parasites there are running around this world, which scares the shit out of me now.
Yeah,
So yeah, thank you, Last of Us.
there's a good bit. The one that freaks me out is the one that's like a worm that gets inside of a slug and it
It's a
forces the
paras
slug to get attacked by a bird. The
Yeah,
parasite, yeah.
it's a parasite that goes inside of a snail that
Mm.
causes the snail to act like a caterpillar so it can get eaten by a bird to get into the GI tract of a bird and cause other infections.
Hmm. Dude, like that's why I
Yeah.
love the opening of that first episode where like if this could infect humans, we'd be in trouble. Like, yeah, if any of this can infect humans, we're dead. We're just done.
Yeah.
There's nothing. That's it. Bomb. We'll just bomb the whole
Bomb.
planet. We'll start.
Bomb.
We'll start over
Bomb.
again.
Bomb.
World planet-wide explosions. We're just gonna start over. We're gonna have to start over again. That's just
Right.
all we can do.
Everybody hit that big button. Everybody hit that big button. Let's go at it. That's it. Cause yeah, this shit is scary because it's actual real life, but at least for right now, it's just in insects. But I eat chickens, I eat birds, and if there's a zombie parasite going in my chickens, how I know I ain't
I
next?
I knew a few people that worked at the CDC in Atlanta, and I heard some things they probably weren't allowed to talk about. About things that they like splice together. Like, why would you
No,
do that? Why
no,
would you
no,
even want to do
no,
that?
no,
Just to
Mongo, not
see,
today,
just
not
to
today,
see.
Mongo, not today. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. We got Royal Rumble coming up later. I will not spend my day on WebMD looking up every goddamn thing, wondering if I'm infected by a fungus, a parasite, something. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we got bored, so we mixed gonorrhea with cancer. What? Why did you? What? What do you? Why did you? Why would you do that? Why would you?
Mm-mm.
Why?
Mm-mm. 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 And look,
That's a
look at the
terrible
response.
idea
Look what you
to be
did.
bored.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is so like I. That's why I'm like, shit, man. I don't know. Maybe I don't know the science, but I'm not a scientist. Maybe one day. I hope not.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. I also told Mongo about a book series which is kind of based off of this as well, too. So if anybody wants to read that, that's another damn book series that you can read. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I manga to a book series where it's about a fungus that takes over um the planet, and there are zombie animals and people walking around because of this damn fungus. So if it goes into no, I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing because guess what? Government folks will not be knocking on my door, so I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. You forget this is live. Me and Mongo's face is on the web right now. They know what me and Mongo look like. They don't know y'all in these comments. Okay, I don't know shit. I don't.
It was just a grapevine. I don't know anything. Don't worry about
I
it.
don't know nothing. Nothing.
I
Nothing.
just,
They have
my
already digitalized what me and Mongo's face looks like. They know when we go to the corner store right now. Okay, so
you know how rednecks and white trash just make shit up. I probably just made that up. Maybe that didn't say.
I smoke
Everybody
weed, so
watching.
I smoke weed, so we always got some wild conspiracy theory after we smoke. So take that grain of salt, people. Yeah, I don't know shit.
Yeah, I just like conspiracy theories. That's I just think it's fun to talk about. That's it. I definitely don't know anything that I shouldn't know. That'd be
Mm-mm,
stupid to even admit.
mm-mm, 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 mm-mm,
On that
mm-mm.
note,
On that note, folks, don't forget to follow us at facebook.com/under the ring pod and twitch.tv/under the ring. Don't forget, folks, we also have a link tree. Link tree/under the ring pod. You can find all our links, including Greg Boucher, Rockwood 44, Mr. Fred. I'm putting all these people. If I got to go, we all going, damn it. Mr. Freshman, the right answer for him out here today. Just 50 cents. If I got to go, we all going, goddamn it. Right. Mr. Hand, please ignore Mongo. He doesn't know he's the oxygen talking. Right. I'm just saying. Ain't no folks. I'm saying.
it was
Let
all
me
jokes. It was all jokes.
in case you didn't hear before, I said Mr. Freshman, the right
Get Boreal Maliente up there one more time. Just give it one more.
just get them all up there. Just like we all. But folks, once again, thank you for joining us on your Saturdays. We hope you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Also, don't forget if you like a little bit of wrestling to follow us on Thursdays. We're here around 8:45ish every Thursday to talk wrestling. For those wrestling fans, it's a big day for us today. It's the Royal Rumble, which means we are officially at the beginning of WrestleMania season. So the Royal Rumble would be the conference games. The NFC and the AFC championships games is what the Royal Rumble is, and WrestleMania would be the Super Bowl. So for wrestling fans, it's our conference, our NFC AFC championship game. So, ooh, ooh, ooh. So once again, folks, thank you for joining us. Same bad channel, same bad place next week. Have a good one.